I am a bit nervous for Daphne. Good afternoon. At the Karl Marx Memorial Library in London, there is an inscription, and it states, "The philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point, however, is to change it. And change for the better, is what Daphne Bramham, the author of Secret Lives of Saints, Child Brides and Lost Boys in Canada's Polygamous Mormon Sect," it's a long title, sets out to accomplish in her book. Having such aspirations and being passionate about liberating women and children from the grips of, for all intents and purposes, a cult, is not an easy task and not for the faint-hearted. But giving voice to the voiceless is in Daphne's blood. After all, she's from Saskatchewan. So Daphne took on the task. The task required meticulous research, superb writing skills to put a human face on those women and children, and importantly, a dispassionate analysis and argument for why something should be done. And Daphne delivered in spades. The mission, as I call it, every time she comes into my office, started in May of 2004, when she wrote her first Vancouver Sun column on the fundamentalist Mormon sect in Bountiful. And over the years, despite hate mail, nasty phone calls, and being persona non grata in Creston, she managed to shine a light in a dark corner of Canada that most people would rather forget. And she took a leave of absence and produced a book which demonstrated beyond a shadow of a doubt, at least to many people, that the self-appointed prophet of Bountiful, Winston Blackmore, was breaking provisions of the Canada's criminal code by having dozens of wives, and several of them who were under the age of 15. My wife felt the need to read out long passages of Daphne's book to me, even when I'm watching football. And she would exclaim, "What more evidence does the government need? And what are they waiting for?" And sometimes she would just read a paragraph and say, "This is very infuriating." So she said, "Well, what can I do?" I said, "Well, just call Wally Opal's office." Infuriating British Columbians and getting them to act is not an easy task. But that's precisely what Daphne accomplished, culminating in polygamy charges by the government of British Columbia against two leaders of Bountiful, Winston Blackmore and James Oler, last month. Daphne, change is what Karl Marx was after. You delivered. I'm sure he is proud, and so are many, many British Columbians. Ladies and gentlemen, Daphne Bramham.